Hey, and welcome to Financial Confidence on WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network. I'm your host, Lynn Demmons. That's Demmons, no demons here, y'all. DEMMONS.
Need a way out? Lynn Demmons is here to help. She's your personal financial rebound coach. Being a wife, mother, and educator, she understands the importance of controlling your finances and building generational wealth. She is here to help you find money you didn't know you had and live life on your terms. Sounds too good to be true? Well, it is true, and it's definitely a good thing. Lynn Demmons of Demmons Enterprise offers one-on-one coaching, group coaching, and radio podcasts entitled Financial Confidence God's Way on WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network. Lynn Demmons.
Thank you so much for tuning in for this episode of Financial Confidence, where we're helping you to make your money, keep your money, and grow your money so you can do those things that you're called to do. That's to build generational wealth and leave an inheritance for your children's children. Our guiding principle of our show is Matthew 6:33. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. We also implore that you pray over your finances so you can do those things that you're called to do. So if you will, bow with me. Lord, help us to value the things in this world that are really valuable. That's our relationship with you, our lives, and our families. Help make us responsible stewards of your financial resources, and let us trust your holy word. Eternal glory, thy son Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, guys, we have an amazing show for you today. You don't want to miss it. Yes, April is Financial Literacy Month, but we're going to stretch this out just a little bit because we all need that extra little help. But before we get to that, I wanted to remind you guys, don't forget, we have the 4-night luxury cruise getaway. Let me speak it correctly. The 4-night luxury cruise getaway that you can win through Financial Confidence. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow the Financial Confidence podcast. And email us at financialconfidence2021@gmail.com. We want to hear your money success story. Oh yeah, you want to hear more about that cruise? Well, guys, you can sail to Cozumel, you can sail to Nassau, Bahamas, or Ensenada. You make the decision. But what we need from you is your money success story. Don't forget, email that to us, financialconfidence2021@gmail.com. financialconfidence2021@gmail.com. We'll be accepting those entries until May 8th, and the announcement will be made on May 15th. All right, guys. So make sure you get in, right? Send it to financialconfidence2021@gmail.com. All right, guys, for our show today, we have Miss Raquel Tolson in the podcasting studio. Raquel, how are you?
Hey, I am good. I am real good. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, we're super excited to have you in the podcasting studio with us. Guys, you don't know, but Raquel is one of the other podcasting hosts here with WYTV7 Community Broadcasters Network. And we are here to share with you during Financial Literacy Month. But I'm going to have Raquel share a little bit about herself with you, the listening audience.
Well, thank you. I am Raquel Tolson, Dr. Raquel Tolson.
Don't forget the doctor. Okay, you work hard for that, doctor.
I am the host of Blessed, and we, like she said, we are also on WYTV7. And I've only been there. I think this is my second year with the podcast with WYTV7. So we're really excited. I am a former lawyer, a former pharmacist, and I'm currently working my own business, Blessed Mind Money Mindset Coaching, and I'm a licensed insurance agent. And what I try to do is to help families to grow and protect their money. So I am really excited about, financial literacy. The company I work with also is Five Rings Financial, and that is like huge. Financial education is just, a huge part of what we do. And I just, because mine is a more spiritual, I come from a spiritual place. And I think a lot of people have like spiritual strongholds when it comes to money. So we got to get our minds right so we can do our money, get our money right. I don't know if you remember that song was like, got my mind on my money and my money on my mind.
Right.
Yeah. So you got to have your mindset right to do your money. Seriously,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
I'm excited to talk to everybody about financial literacy today.
Awesome. So Raquel, what we want to talk, since you want to share about financial literacy, we want to know a little bit about your money mindset, your relationship with money growing up. So with that said, what was your first job and what did you do with that first paycheck?
You know what? It's really easy for me to answer this question. If anybody knows me, they knew my mother, Ruth Tosin, and she was, she was in charge. She was larger in charge of everything. My first job was at AMC Theaters. Oh, let me tell you, and this is like on side note, I had to buy me some stock at AMC because and that's where I go now. When I want to go to movies, I go to AMC Theaters. Let me stop talking about it because I'm not getting any money for this right now. I'm just like, since I got stock, it works, right?
Right.
But so my first, I was selling popcorn and upselling the sodas and everything. Could go to the movies free. So I was always like the benefits. It's about more than just a paycheck. It's about what the benefits are. And as a teenager, to get to go to the movie for free, that's a huge benefit, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So my first check, though, it went to my mother. And the check after that, and the check after that. And you know what? People are like, how you give your mama your check? Because she my mama and she asked for it and she told me to, and I lived with her. So she didn't make me pay rent or anything. But what she did, she gave me an allowance out of my check. Because she didn't trust me. And she was right. Because like most teenagers, I would have spent it on clothes because I wanted to look cute. She would allow me to spend it on whatever I wanted to. The money she gave me, but then she put some up in savings because she said, Raquel, you're going to college, you're going to need some money. She was like, I'm not rich.
Right.
So, and you know what happened when I went away to college? I say, Mom, I need some money. She's like, okay. She had the money to give to me because I had saved. It was my money. She was just giving me the money that I had, stocked away. She had stocked away for me. So my mindset, was my mom was like, we gonna save.
Yes. I love that. So one thing I want to go back to that you said it's about the benefits, right? What are the benefits that you can now achieve as a result? Yeah, investing in the stock in the company that you own was definitely, that you work with, right? Was definitely a benefit, right? But I think my mom and your mom were related because but she said that we were helping to pay the bills in the house. That was the way she framed it. Mm-hmm. But on the other side of that coin, we had a very similar situation. I was like, Mom, it's time to go to college. She just wrote a check and gave it to me, and I went in that first year. But I made the mistake. So here's where my money mind was at, and maybe y'all's too, because when my mom paid the money, financial aid also kicked in. Then they gave me a refund check.
I got those too. I got those too. Ooh, okay. Crab legs and steak for dinner.
Right. And in college, you were the stuff. If you could,
yes.
If you had something other than ramen noodles, you were the stuff, right?
Yes. You could tell when financial aid distribution was because people ate really good.
Right.
Now, but you know what? But I will say this though, my roommate and I, because this was more like my sophomore year. The freshman year, my mom still was, pretty much in charge. But my sophomore year, when I kind of got out the dorm and had to start like kind of paying bills and things, so she allowed me to keep a whole lot more money once I got out my freshman year, right? But instead of going to the restaurants or going out and spending the money, we went to the grocery store. Okay. And bought steak and stuff like that. So I still felt like we were being responsible because we cooked it at the house, and that saved a lot of money.
Yes, yes, it did. It did. So let's talk about now, how did you get from the point of working at AMC to
Mhm.
where you are today? Because you said you're a former lawyer, you're a
Mhm.
former pharmacist,
Yeah.
right? So you've
Right.
done
Right.
several different things.
Mhm.
So help us to get through that process. What is that mindset like? Because to become a doctor in the midst of all of that, that's no small feat, right?
Right.
So help us to walk through that process. What did that look like for you? And to get to the point today that you are
Yeah.
running your
So the mindset that I've had, my mother, of course, it was my mom and my dad too. I mean, not leave him out, but my mindset was always biblical. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And now I just add through Christ consciousness, because I think that people need to understand that consciousness wasn't just in Jesus. It's available to all of us. So I say through Christ consciousness, that's
Yes.
that strengthens me. And having that belief, and I was smart. I'm not going to lie and say I wasn't a smart person, but I personally don't believe that I was born smart. I just don't believe that. I just believe that my parents instilled in me that I can, and when I say can do, I can learn all things.
Right.
I
Right.
said, let's just do that part, because you got to learn it before you do it. So it's like, I can learn, and having that mindset. Yeah. So pharmacy, like, oh, that's hard. No, because I can do all things. I can learn anything. So that wasn't hard. And then going to law school that was about me loving TV, watching TV, LA Law and Blair Underwood. And they made laws, they made it look really
Looks
sexy.
right, exactly.
But
Exactly.
it wasn't. And so I couldn't do it, because another one of my mindset is that, people think that you have to work hard. That's not my mindset, because it says his yoke is easy, his burden is light.
Right.
That to me means that work shouldn't be hard. And I'm not saying that I don't believe in, well, quote unquote hard work, that I won't work.
Mhm.
But if it's hard, then that means that my mindset that his burden is, his yoke is easy and his burden is light, then that's not correct. So
Right.
if I'm in something, I'm like, ooh, I don't like this. This is hard to go. I can't do it. So I
Mhm.
stopped being a lawyer. And eventually I stopped being a pharmacist too. Because when it's all said and done, it's knowing my purpose. And my purpose is to help people. So I was helping people as a lawyer. I was helping people as a pharmacist. And now I help people as an insurance agent and financial, money mindset coach. I'm still helping people. Still my purpose.
Right, right. So I love that. I love that, and understanding that it's not about working hard, but it is definitely about working smart, right? So how do you now, and I love that you said you identified, whether or not it was something that you liked or that was easy for you or not necessarily easy for you, but that you didn't have to work too hard, right? So you
Right.
made that transition, if you will, to the area that you're in today. So in thinking about the clients that you work with, what are some of the top 3 misconceptions that they have in your area that you would like to help my audience dispel today?
Well, it's really interesting. So I wrote a book a while ago, Why a Church for Poor. Elevate your thoughts and exercise your faith to live an abundant life.
Okay.
That's the first point. That's like the first thing is, it really is about, when I was saying how, everybody grew up in church, they heard that I can do all things, right? I think,
Right.
but most people like, oh, I can't do that. Oh, that's too hard. I can't do that. I can't learn. But we just kept saying, I can do all things. So it's like, okay, it's one thing to memorize scripture. And even if it's not scripture, if it's just like a great quote, it's one thing to memorize it, but you have to elevate your thinking to actually believe it.
Yeah.
And once you believe it, right? So one of the things with money, people believe that money is the root of all evil. You heard that before?
Absolutely.
Well, first of all, it's a wrong quote. It's the love of money.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
even that, the love of money, like you have to even take that, because people say, oh, because I enjoy money. So
Absolutely.
I enjoy what money can do for me, and I was like, but it's having a right relationship with money, and so, but we get stuck in our head, and then the main one that used to get stuck in my head was, it is easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich man to get into heaven. Now, if you was raised in church, there is only one goal, and that is to get in heaven. So if you telling me to be rich, I can't get into heaven. So what we do, we hold on to that and we self-sabotage ourselves. So let me spend my money. And then like in good church people, they give it away. They don't spend it. They give it away. They might give it to the church. They'll give it to the needy, but it's still self-sabotage. They don't want to keep it because they don't want to be rich. Because I got to get into heaven. So let me get the money. And then we get preyed upon. I'm not saying all churches.
Right.
Don't have your people shooting me. They'll sending me. I'm not saying all churches, but there are some people that prey on that. So they like, oh yeah, give to the church, give. And we're giving because we don't want to be rich. But then some of the people that we giving to, they rich. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's like one of the mindsets that you got to kind of get people to stop self-sabotaging. And another way we do that is by not budgeting. Because we like, that's such a restriction. No, it's you spending with intention. Stop thinking of a budget as being restriction, but spending with intention.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't, you self-sabotage. You know, so really getting people to think about that, the self-sabotage. So I think that's two, right? But so, and then the last thing that I really focus on is using an insurance policy to close the wealth gap. Now let's just talk about a regular life insurance policy. If a parent had $250,000 of life insurance on them, right? They passed away, let's say at 70 or 65, however, and they left that $250,000 to their child. Could that not change that situation? That child could buy a home, pay off a home, and property, real estate is a great investment, right? It's great. Is a great thing, wealth, because you can pass it down, right? So just that alone. But do you know how many people don't buy insurance, life insurance? Or they just get enough to bury themselves? And they get the $10,000 policy that they pay a lot of money for. They bury themselves, but then they miss the opportunity. Another reason why it's a great thing, because that family gets it tax-free. Hello, that right there is huge.
It is, absolutely
tax-free. So you mean to tell me even $100,000, I can get $100,000 tax-free? It's all mine? Where they do that at? With a life insurance policy, but we won't that's a mindset though, that we have to change. And then, so even when people get into that, so now I don't necessarily just sell life insurance. I sell what is called living benefits. It has a living benefit. So you don't have to die to get the money. So all these people last year, they got COVID. So if you had a living benefits policy and you went in the hospital, had to get on all this stuff, some of these people get like $100,000 bill, right?
Yeah.
But even the person that didn't have $100,000 bill, they didn't go to work. They may have, they may have lost their jobs and stuff. A living benefits policy, when you're that sick, they would have let you accelerate the death benefit, and you could have pulled on that. So you could have got like up to 75% of a life insurance policy. So let's just say if it was $100,000 policy, you could have got $75,000 to help tide your family over. Wouldn't that have been wonderful? And then you wouldn't have had to pull out of your savings, out of your retirement. You wouldn't have had to sell your stocks. Closing the wealth gap.
Right.
Preserving the finances. And this is what I'm trying to teach people but you have to change your mindset to even think like that. Right?
Awesome. Yes, absolutely. that book back up there again. What is it called now? Why Our Church
Why are church
Poor? Come on, somebody.
You know, people don't like that title, though. You know that, right?
So I love it, and I'm going to tell you why I love it, because you hit on several things in bringing out those scriptures. And I think the number one problem for most people is that they pull those scriptures out in singletons. They don't go back and look at the whole story so they can get the full picture, because I also know that God says, I have come so that you may have life and have it more abundantly. So what also plays into that, if not money? See, the reason church folk are poor, hello, somebody.
Come on, preach, girl. You
Okay. See, I am thankful, for these types of conversations so that we can begin to shift that mindset, shift that conversation. Yes, tithing is awesome, amazing. Give, right? You give not only in your money, you give in your time, you give in different resources. That's what tithing is. But until we get the whole picture, we miss the boat. And in that case, that wealth gap is going to continue, right?
Yes.
To be prevalent, to be over this, what they say, 200 years before the minority populations can close the wealth gap between the whites and the blacks, when in actuality, you just gave an example with the life insurance policy that'll help shrink that within 10 to 20 years. Because if they take that life insurance policy, invest it wisely, okay, then 7 years, the rule of 72. I know I'm preaching to the choir. 7 years at that 8% interest. Guess what? You've doubled your money significantly.
Yep, significantly. Yeah, girl. Yeah.
Let me
and you know what? And I always say, because a lot of times when Big Mama died, right? That house that Big Mama had.
Yeah.
They fight over it, first of all, but then they said, because when I was an attorney, I used to do probate,
Okay. So you know the whole story.
People used to fight over these little houses, right? As opposed to, let's just make sure it stays in the family. Exactly. Who need a house to live in? Who among us in the family need a house to live in? Right. Stop being so selfish. Well, I need my peace. It ain't me. It's the family house.
Not your peace.
Let's just make sure that the house is paid off, that the insurance and the taxes get paid every year, and whoever needs to live in it, who we can trust to be a good steward over that house. So that means this family always nobody in the family has to be homeless.
That's real. So you hit on another point right there. That's another pain point that we talk about on financial confidence. And that's the fact that so many in our communities lose their homes, those family homes, for failure of someone going in and paying the taxes. Someone goes to a tax deed sale or a tax lien sale and scoops it right from under you. Why? Because you didn't pay the taxes. Now you had the fees. You didn't pay the fees and you let it linger. Now someone has come in for a measly $1,000, $2,000 and taken away a family home just because we couldn't get on one accord.
Yep, because we couldn't get on one accord. Yep. Because my father and my and his siblings, they had one sibling who used to live right next door to my grandma. Well, his house, I forgot what happened, but so they moved, they gave him the house. Everybody signed over the house to him because everybody else had it. They said, okay, because this is a family home. We need to make sure that this house is good, because we're not going to let it just slip away or anything. And somebody got to live in it.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? But it's still in the family. It's like when we come together as one, like instead of everybody trying to win, it's not a competition. We try to win. We come together. It's like, this is all of ours. This is a place where we can all come. And it's got enough bedrooms where if somebody needs a place to stay, to go and stay for a while. Yeah. So it's all I know is one of the things that we try to tell people, every portfolio should have a life insurance policy. And it's not just about the life insurance policy, living benefits policy, but there's also an indexed account. So there's a way that you can save money for your retirement in a life insurance policy, or money for your children.
Mhm.
And you don't lose it. There's no risk of losing. Like when you put your money in a stock market, it's going up and down, up and down. You got to pull it out, or keep it. You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. With a
Right.
life insurance policy, you don't have to do that. And with the indexed account, the IUL is called an IUL,
Mhm.
okay? And what that does, when the market goes up, at the end of the year, you get to capitalize off that. But when the market go all the way down, guess what? You don't lose no money. You just stay right where you are. So you don't lose your principal. Now, because there's a floor and you can't lose your money, they're going to put a ceiling on it to make it fair. But the ceiling is usually like 9-10%.
Right.
And right now at the bank, you getting 0.12%, I think. 0.2.
If you're getting that much.
If you're getting that much, right? So when you say I can get up to 10% and never lose my money, so that's like for a retirement savings. You don't want to be in a situation where people that had their money back in the day in 2008 and the stock market went down and they lost most of their money and it was time to retire, and they were like, oh, I can't retire because the stock market, I gotta wait till the stock market go back up. So you get these kind of accounts. And so, but just trying to get people to hear, because when they think investment, they only think of stock market. That's not the only place. It's like, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
That's just, you don't do that. Diversify. I personally think that you should have some stocks and bonds. You should have some money in the market, but you should have something safe that, and not safe in the bank or safe under the mattress. I'm talking about safe that is still growing, but you can't lose it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's very powerful in helping people. Earlier, you were talking about that self-sabotage, and not doing those things is the ultimate way to self-sabotage, not diversifying your portfolio. Because I can tell you in 2008, all of the 401ks and everything else was hit hard. Real estate was hit hard. But guess what? That comeback though. After it started coming back up to 2010, after it started coming back up 2012, after it started coming back up, it was a beautiful thing, right? And it's about positioning yourself to be ready in those situations and not continuing to self-sabotage over and over and over. But how do you get to that point? You have to be educated first and foremost, but education alone gets you nowhere. It's taking the action steps, okay? To get to that next point. So if you don't hear anything else today, make sure you write that down. I will no longer self-sabotage. I will take the steps needed to move to the next. Then you prioritize what that is for you. So your next is different from my next, is different from Raquel's next, right? But if you give as much to your thinking, your mindset around your money, as you give to your church, as you give to your children, as you give to your man or to your woman, whichever, right? If you give just as much to that, think about the difference you can make. We're helping you to make your money, keep your money, and grow your money, guys, so you can do those things that you're called to do. Build generational wealth and leave an inheritance for your children's children. So we get back to the insurance conversation, Raquel. So what would you say then would be the best place to start? Because this is a new conversation for many, and they know, they've heard, people say you need life insurance, or you need this, you need that. And I even had a man tell me one time, he said, you know what, Lynn, I'm going to spend it until the wheels fall off. My kid's not getting anything. What would be your response to that person?
Well, and I guess because there's some people that you just can't reach, but if it happened to be somebody that know the Bible, and I'm like, but it says a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children's children.
Right.
So you want who you want to be. And let me just say this, Lynn. I am not judgmental. Whatever works for you, great. You happy, I'm happy. Okay. But there's an intention You know, if you don't care for then that's fine. If you want to show your love in another way, then that's fine. I'm not going to say that leaving money is the only way to show your love for your family.
Absolutely not.
But as for me, in my house, I got
Right.
we're gonna serve.
Right.
And when I say serve the Lord, I'm not saying that we not doing nothing. This, what I'm saying is we operate in love.
Right.
That's like our mission is love. So I'm gonna love my child to make sure he has what he needs. And in turn, I'm training him to love his children so they can have what they need. So my son is 26. He just became a teacher for LA Unified. He has a second job with Delta Airlines, and they just gave him a promotion, basically. So now he's working full-time. He's working 2 full-time jobs. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So
and he's at LA Unified. Oh,
yeah.
Lord have mercy, bless his heart.
Okay. So here's the thing. The first thing that I said we had to do was get him a house. Now, I have a house. It's two houses on one property. So I was like, do I really have to have my house or should? So I'm selling the house to him because of the kind of property it is. People would pay us almost $1 million to get this property.
Right.
So I'm like, no, he can have that. He can have this. You know what I'm saying? So now we start him thinking. So that means with having a mortgage, he's saying, I choose wealth, a generational wealth over partying, because the money that he could pay, that he's paying for this mortgage, he could be out partying, being mad. You see what I'm saying? But it's like his mindset is right. It's like, because it's about generational wealth, because he already has a love for his children that he don't even have yet.
Right. I love it. Right. That's 2 snaps. Right.
Okay. It's powerful. It's powerful.
Yes,
and people have to think about it like that, you know? And then, cause I would tease him, but I really wouldn't tease him, joking, but serious like that. For every kid you have, you should be able to give them a house to when you go, they should be able to have a house. So right now he'll have two homes on one piece of property, but then I'm almost like, but does that count? Because they have to split that up. So right now you should just only have one kid and then buy another piece of property when this will go up, because of course I didn't charge him what they
right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna grow and he can pull that money out and go buy another property, and he can buy it outside of California. But here's the other thing that people need to know that I found out. When you sell your property to like a child or relative or whatever, you can use the equity in the home for the down payment. Look at God. So the equity we had in the house, we put a down payment on it. So his mortgage is a whole lot cheaper than what it could be. Building generational wealth. Now, I could have said, nah, bro, you can get that 3.5% FHA loan, and I'm taking all my money and going. But that's not the love. That's not the generational wealth thought.
Right.
So I was like, and like I say, it's not wrong if somebody would do that. It's just not where we were. Our intention is to build generational wealth, to close the gap. So that's what we had to do that.
Absolutely. I love it. And one of the things that I love is that it's a leg up, not a hand out, that you've now given your child. And it's until we get that mindset that we miss the boat. Yes. See, the problem is many in the community see it as a handout instead of helping somebody up to the next level. Because I think I don't know. I don't want to. I'm going to call a spade a spade.
Do it.
Right? It's that spirit of jealousy. If I didn't have it, or if I had to work so hard for it, why am I just going to give it to someone else? So you're not operating in the spirit of love, like Miss Raquel said. Operating in the spirit of love puts your mindset in a completely different place, right? We
Lead
want to
with
make these
love.
things happen.
Lead with love, even when it comes to your finances. Everything
Yeah.
you do, you should lead in love. Even if you are not a Christian, lead in love. Just lead
Awesome.
with love. Period.
Awesome. Period. Yes. Awesome. Awesome. Raquel, I can sit here and talk to you all day, but I know we do have to close out this. Are there any closing words before we close out the show?
Well, I just want to let everybody know I have a little free booklet. It's called Mind on My Money, and we'll put it, I guess, somewhere so they can go and get it. But they can go to my website at www.raqueltolson.com, and they can find it there. But like seriously, I'm so loving that we connected on WYTV7, because I know that God means for us to help shake some things up and close the wealth gap. Absolutely. And we can only do it through education and talking and sometimes saying stuff that people don't want to hear.
They don't. Those courageous conversations is what I call them. So yes. Raquel, thank you for having a courageous conversation. Guys, mind on my money and my money's on my mind, right? Yes, don't forget to check out her free resource that she has available to you. We'll also be sharing this on our social media as well, so you guys can download that. So look for it on my social media page on Financial Confidence Podcast. We thank you so much for tuning in and sharing with us, Miss Raquel. We definitely have to have you back again.
It was fun. I appreciate it. And I am going to put this on Blessed so they can hear it 2 times. Because
Awesome. Well, guys, we thank you for tuning in for Financial Confidence here on WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network, WYTV7 Community Broadcasters Network. I'm your host, Lynn Demons. That's Demons, no demons here, y'all. DEMMONS. We thank you so much. If this has been invaluable to you, head on over to WYTV7.org. Leave a donation so we can continue to do what we're called to do. That's to educate, empower, and encourage you. Guys, my mind's on my money and my money's on my mind. All right. We'll see you guys next week at the same time. Until then, you stay safe.
Finances in a rut? Need a way out? Lynn Demons is here to help. She's your personal financial rebound coach. Being a wife, mother, and educator, she understands the importance of controlling your finances and building generational wealth. She is here to help you find money you didn't know you had and live life on your terms. Sounds too good to be true? Well, it is true, and it's definitely a good thing. Lynn Demons of Demons Enterprise offers one-on-one coaching, group coaching, and radio podcast entitled Financial Confidence God's Way on WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network. Lynn Demons of